Ladies and gentlemen, this is Jojin Movie So Awesome. I'm Joe.
I'm One Jin.
We're going to talk about the TV series Reacher today, season 1. Spoilers ahead.
Major
you
spoilers
have
ahead.
been warned. You know, like One Jin suggested this to me first, and I didn't have high expectations for it. You know, it's a show. Okay, let's get into it. And after watching 8 episodes, I can really say, like, it was such a guilty pleasure for me.
You know, when I first heard that Reacher was being made into a TV show,
Yeah.
well, my hopes weren't that high because there are several TV shows that were based on a movie. And a lot of them did not completely satisfy me. For example, what's it called? Limitless. Remember that movie with Bradley Cooper? That movie was brilliant. I also had not low. I didn't have much expectation from that movie, but when I watched it, I thought it was really, really good. And then I heard a TV series was coming out based on the movie. And to me, well, compared to the movie, it was a little disappointing.
Well, we wouldn't say based on the movie. It's based on the novel. Like,
that's right.
One of the big gripes about the one with Tom Cruise was that it didn't stay true to the original character of the Reacher.
And I had no idea until the TV show came out.
Yeah.
And I was really not aware of the book when the movie Jag Reacher came out, starring Tom Cruise.
I was aware of the novel because in the novel he's a big guy. I think I forget the name again, but there's this Swedish novel series with a guy named Harry, and he's also a big guy. So it plays with the trope where we assume it's like a modern Sherlock Holmes, except they're updated with steroids and muscles,
and special forces techniques.
Yeah, and also like it's like a Rambo with brains, basically. and I really enjoyed it, because I think a lot of shows today take themselves maybe too seriously a little bit.
Agreed.
But here we have one that's just like, we're gonna give you what you came for, which is an action thriller.
Yeah.
And it reminded me a lot of the like action thrillers of the 80s and 90s.
Yeah.
Like starring Harrison Ford. Like the protagonist is always
That's
different,
right.
but it's always good versus bad. Very simple.
Like this super competent guy who's very righteous and serves justice happens to be in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Yeah, exactly.
And things go horribly wrong.
Yeah.
And he saves the day. And we've seen a lot of these in the 80s and 90s, like you said. We've seen Harrison Ford movies. We've also seen a lot of those movies starring Steven Seagal. Under Siege.
Yeah.
We have movies with Bruce Willis. We've seen a lot of these.
I think Bruce Willis is the one exception, though, because it's similar, but he's the one that's like a regular guy. They try to play it back on, but here he's not a regular guy. He's Reacher.
That's right.
Like in the first episode, I was like, maybe this is a little tacky, and then I got over my arrogant self by the 4th episode. I'm like, fuck yeah, Reacher, beat the shit out of that guy. And then like by the final episode, when Roscoe was like, he's Reacher, I was like, yeah, Roscoe, like Reacher's gonna kill those smuggling ring, and I think you're gonna get this. It reminded me a lot of the MacGruber vibe.
Oh yeah, MacGruber.
Except this one takes itself seriously, and it works. Everyone's like, "Oh, you know who the fuck Reacher is?" And then they're like, they have their doubts in the beginning, but he starts gouging the guys out, and then what I love is like no sympathy for the bad guys.
Yeah,
they're not even humanized. They're just like pieces of shit. Like no redemptive quality at all. And it's such a action thriller we saw before.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it also reminded me of what's it called? It was also based on a book. What was it? The Shooter.
Oh yeah.
The one with Mark Wahlberg.
Oh, that's very good.
Bob Lee Swagger. What was his name? Yeah. This movie also this show also reminded me a lot of The Shooter because that also had a very similar formula.
Yeah.
This guy gets framed for assassinating the bishop, and then he's just so happens to be like a sharpshooter for the Marines or something.
Yeah, I mean it's like a fantasy for us men, right? To be like completely competent.
Yeah,
and I that's why I appreciated the dialogue, because there's no realism there. It's just for the entertainment. No, you're right. No, you're right. All these detective works, and but and one little thing I love how they treated the female character too.
Ah, that's right.
Like because nowadays like it's a very like sensitive issue, but I thought they handled it really well, where she's independent. And she's competent, and there I didn't get any sense whatsoever that would be an issue like anyway. Yeah. And the actress was surprisingly very subtle acting, very good. Yeah,
I like the way she got upset about Reacher trying to put himself in danger to save her. She gets pissed off.
I love their romantic tension because it wasn't overblown.
Yeah,
like
good point.
There were like subtle moments. But I love how Roscoe doesn't even cry. Like she's like, yeah, fuck off. I'm gonna be the mayor. I got bigger dreams than you, bitch. But I you know what was tacky, but I love how every little thing had like a conspiracy behind it. my adopted father was murdered by the diamond ring, and there's a diamond shape in the corpse. I was like, oh, he's guilty.
Oh my god, that's gotta be that cane stick thing.
Yeah, I knew he was a POS. Like basically what I found funny was everybody you suspect to be a piece of shit is a piece of shit. Like and it's so satisfying.
Oh, it also reminds me of Roadhouse.
Oh, right.
Roadhouse also has similar formula.
But I would give like the action scenes were generally tense though. Like every action scene except the last episode for me was actually at the moment it was very convincing. Yeah, like it was done well. Except the one with the last warehouse one. That was just like, yeah, this is the ending. That bad guy burns.
Rambo time.
Rambo time. And then like one thing I was sad was I was hoping Roscoe would beat that like inspector guy with the diamond stick to death with it. Like I was hoping that, but boom,
club him to death.
Yeah, I thought like genuinely that was like the atmosphere at the like because we already seen Reacher like straight up gouge a guy's eyes out in prison.
That's right.
He kills these South American mercenaries in cold blood, crunches their body in a trunk
because the bodies wouldn't fit.
And then you described it really well. You said Home Alone adult version, where he paints and paints and beats the cousin guy out, and then like by the last scene I was like, yeah, this is definitely going like anime, but they didn't disappoint. The bad guy had this like super villain dialogue. I'm gonna put your head next to the other mooses. I knew he would like die horribly the moment he said that. That almost went to like Bond villain level stuff. But
I was hoping that he would fall into one of those tanks and then something even more horrible would happen. Just like what's it called? Punisher.
Yeah.
You know, remember the movie Punisher? The one played by Ray Stevenson? I think that was the second one.
Yeah.
The one with Jigsaw.
The second one.
Yeah, Jigsaw. You know, remember what happens to him in that big tank with glass bottles? I was hoping something like that would happen.
Yeah, I like the second one better. Like the first one was fine actually. I love the actor. Who's that?
Billy.
Yeah.
Was it Billy? No, not Billy Zane, but
yeah, there was a time he dominated like all the movies.
It wasn't Billy Zane, but his name was something similar.
It was the guy from The Mist.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
the guy from The Mist.
Yeah.
But that movie was also not bad. I still remember the guy with the guitar in the restaurant. Yeah, that was pretty badass. But the second one, I liked it even more because it was so gory. But returning to our conversation on Reacher, now that we talk about it, Reacher also has a lot of those Punisher elements. Yeah. One-man army.
No, but I think Reacher does it well. I mean, there were moments I thought was violent, but they don't go like overboard with it. Like they keep it really well. And the best thing about like the series is it's edited really well. Like there's not a moment where I was bored.
Yeah. Like there's not much of a waste of time here. It just goes like boom, 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 boom.
And it's a very great TV series. What I mean by that is there's great cliffhanger like endings for every episode. I even like that FBI guy turning out to be a traitor.
Oh yes.
Because if you're halfway into the series, you know that every nice guy is gonna be a bad guy too. I knew there was something fishy about that guy.
Yeah, how did the wife and the kids, their location get blown? It's got to be the FBI guy.
Look, you know what I thought he was a mean guy? When the banker wife hugged him, I was like, no, he's not. The moment you did that, I knew he was going to betray you. Like, everybody except the main three characters. And you mentioned this. You love the back and forth between...
Finley. Finley and Reacher, the detective guy.
No, that Finley, like... First episode, I was annoyed by Finley, but by the middle of it, I loved, like, he seemed like a genuine character. Like, he was not acting about it. And, you mentioned this, like, the contrast between him and Reacher.
I like that little banter going on between them. It's like, fuck you, fuck you.
In the car, fuck you. And when he takes off his shirt, you're ripped. No, you're not.
Oh, now that I look at you, you're jacked. Really? No.
I thought he was pretty fit for a guy his age. Like, I assume he's an older man. And I love how, like, it happens in the South.
That's right.
And I have nothing against people in the South, but, like, I love how they stereotype those people. Like, yeah, this is a village. Like, you don't come here.
The one I remember is the one last cop that Reacher hoaxes.
Yeah.
He believes himself that Reacher still hasn't figured it out.
Yeah.
And he always has this racial bias against Finley.
Yeah.
And what was the conversation Finley had with the cop? He said, "You're exactly as I imagined you to be."
Yeah. And then that was good. Like, that's like American Justice. Like, because Finley gets the last word.
Yeah.
I love it when Finley just looked at him. Like, yeah, I live, you die. And then
and that scene was also surprisingly violent. Remember, they just smash him with a car.
No, but
then he just stands there and watches him die.
No, but you bring up a good point. What I loved about it. This series is both cliche and not cliche. Like, the formula is cliche, but I felt like they wrote the dialogue, like, really smartly. Where, because it's tacky at the right moment. But there, I thought, he might have had, like, a really tacky line. But instead, they opted to have him just look at him. And there are a lot of smart moments like that, I feel. Very good. And I also love how Roscoe handles those assassins, too.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, I mean... And the Reacher killing the guy with the necktie. Yeah, because he's like 300 pounds.
And I'm thinking, he was doing that in the middle of, what was it, New York City?
No! I'm sorry, Wenji, but I know what you're saying. But by the fourth episode, we know that they're getting away with everything. Like, manslaughter, obvious, like, vicious assaults. Like, when the FBI arrives after, like, the warehouse burning, they should have said, okay, I thank you guys, but I'm still charging you guys for obstruction of justice.
And manslaughter.
Yeah, property damages. Some straight up murders. Like, which is like, I know you're the good guys, but I still got to do my job.
There's no way you can just walk away from this.
And what's so cliche about it is, like, we watched the first episode together, so that, like, the family aspect is in there too, with Joe, the brother, and I almost thought, like, by the end season, like, Joe would be played by the same actor or something, but they chose really well. He kind of looks like Reacher, but he doesn't.
I also thought the child actors were very carefully chosen.
Yeah, very excellent.
Yeah.
Great casting, and great casting of the mother too.
Yeah.
The French mother.
Yeah.
And then like, it's one of those things that, like, we love, like that family thing. Mother says, "Do the right thing, don't solve all the problems," and then they put it at the end. And it was, it's tacky, but it's good. It's like when Superman beats up a bad guy. You're like, that doesn't make sense, but it's awesome. Keep doing it.
That's right.
Yeah.
He stands for justice.
Like, and the villains were good too. I felt like the son, that son actor was okay. Like, because
I wish he had more screen time.
Oh.
Yeah, I wish he could have been a lot more interesting if they had given him a little more time on the screen.
I agree and disagree. Like, what I disagree is, like, I think that's why it's a surprise. Because remember, these villains are cardboard boxes. We're not supposed to get to know them that well.
Bad guy.
Yeah, bad guy with crazy psycho eyes, harassing Roscoe.
Stalking.
Yeah, ball cutting and all this vicious stuff. Look, but the funny thing is, those like kind of killings are in the Jack Reacher, like the Harry like series, the shooter, like those vicious guys are always in these novels. There's always some psychopath. Remember the girl with the dragon tattoo?
Yeah.
That rich guy is a serial killer.
And also, we don't have to look far. We can look at Batman.
Yeah, yeah. Like what I'm trying to say is like, it's a fantasy, but a fantasy that has a tint of authenticity because it's believable to be in a village and the stranger storyline. And we forgot to praise the actor of Reacher.
We've seen this guy from old movies like what was it, Hunger Games? Yeah.
No, but I thought he was terrific. Like his smart assness. Like he's the kind of guy that you can tell that no one ever told him what they really think of him because he's so big.
I love him being a smart ass and saying all these smart lines. I think my favorite was when what was it? The son or the cousin made a remark about him about football or something, and then he said they kicked me out.
Yeah, because I was too violent.
Why? Because you couldn't handle it. Because I was too violent.
And I love his backstory. You were a criminal. No, but I killed child abusers. Like, it's one of those things where you're like, justice.
Because they build that up as if, Reacher has some kind of dark background. And eventually it turns out that he was killing these child ass rapers.
No, but first of all, it is dark. But it's one of those things like, fuck yeah.
So you're gonna hate me for killing some child ass rapers?
Yeah. It's like when in Django Unchained, like Django kills all those cuckoo KKK members. We're like, that's horrible, but fuck yeah, blow them to pieces.
No remorse.
Yeah, because child abuser is one of those things that are like worse than Nazis. You're like, yeah, they deserve to die. And a lot of, but the actor was really, really good. Like I think he played the role to a T. Like when he was serious. But I also like the moment when he talks about his brother's death.
Yeah, and although he doesn't say much, you can still see that he was mourning.
Yeah, and that vulnerability, and Roscoe stepping in and saying you can be sad, and because by the end we get to fall in love with Reacher too. I think we all feel like Finley does. Because Finley thinks like you're POS, and then at the end he's like, "Yeah, you're not so bad," and then have this peach pie and fuck off. I wish there was a season 2 now.
Yeah, I wish. And I think this is supposed to be based on like a single book.
Yeah, there's a whole series.
There are like a lot of series.
Yeah, a lot of books.
I heard it's the same case with the book that the shooter was based on. Yeah. So I'm pretty sure they can come up with another episode and turn that, another book and turn that into an entire season. Yeah. No, there's a lot of material. I think Mr. Lee Child is a very proactive novelist. I can't remember right now, but a lot of these series have like 7 to 8 books even. Yeah. So and then it's like I think they can add a lot of creativity too, because go ahead. I realized as I was watching some of the scenes, I could tell that some of the scenes were probably straight being very very what can I say, true to the descriptions in the book. For example, remember when Roscoe was trying to kill those assassins who approached the cabin? There was a moment when this dude's knee kind of like popped out of the tree, and she had like a 2-second window to take the shot, but she misses it. I could tell that this would be so intense if you're reading it from a book, and I could tell that this is probably a very accurate description of what the book describes. So since the writers have done such a good job turning this into on this, converting this to the screen, I'm pretty sure if they come up with the future seasons, I'm pretty sure they'll do a very good job if they keep this up.
I hope so. Like, I gotta be honest, like this has been like the best experience, one of the best experience in terms of like action thriller for the past year for me. Like, because some of these thriller movies, I think the problem with the Reacher movie was it was too short.
That's right.
Like, because a lot of these mysteries takes episodes to build up, and I think I never felt like the 8-episode format was perfect. Like 50 minutes or 46 minutes each. Like it was one of those things where it's like eating a hamburger, man. Oh fuck yeah! No Emmys, but fuck yeah, we hope you like it. Yeah, I don't know, but maybe the Reacher actor should get an Emmy nod. He was good. He was good. Anyway, I'm gonna give this super awesome 10 out of 10 for me.
Like, oh really? Very high.
Like no, because like it's never gonna win an Emmy. Like I'm no offense to the creators. This is how I really feel, but it did what it did. Because when you're like filming Die Hard, you know what you're doing.
Yeah.
Have a good time. Have a good time. And this one, I might watch it again. It was just that fun for me. What about you?
I would also give it a super awesome. Not sure if I would still give it a 10 though. Maybe 9 out of 10 because I think they can still iron out some of the odd lines in I think especially in the beginning of the season.
No, but I kind of appreciated it. It's like an exposition dump basically, but you expect that from like a series like this. I think so. Like because I think that's a compromise because the novel format has that advantage. Because a novel can have like 50 pages of exposition before they get into the action, and I think they wanted to pack that all in. So like, you're right, but I didn't mind it. It's like watching somebody shit in a comedy movie. Of course they're gonna shit. You know what I mean? So anyway, that's our take. If you haven't watched Reacher, you like action thrillers, please watch it. And if you like our videos, press like, subscribe. We'll see you soon with a Breaking Better Call Saul episode 9 review. Thank you.
Oh, and before we end, that Desert Eagle in Reacher's hands was like the perfect weapon.
Oh yeah,
it's supposed to be massive, but in his hands, it seemed like the right size.
See, that's what I like about it though, because like if it was like a movie trying to be smart, it'd be like, here's a 38, it doesn't miss. He's like, fuck that, kickback. Have you seen my arm? There's no kickback. No, shoulder safe. No. Like
that massive hand cannon in his hands.
So by the 8th episode, I wouldn't mind if there was a bazooka. No, Reacher. Like, this is like, remember, this is like mainland America. Boom. Anyway, see you guys soon. Thank you. Bye bye.
We'll be right back.